Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all well. I hope you're in good health, and I hope you're having a good time. Old School Runescape, a game that refuses to die. While modern MMOs been pushing for ultra-realistic graphics and endless pay-to-win mechanics, and absolute endless amounts of microtransactions, OSRS has stood strong, unchanged, and more importantly, unbothered and more beloved than ever. It's actually growing, and it's actually had its most high online player count last month, I believe, in 2025 January. But why? What makes this 24-year-old game, or is it 25 years now, still one of the most popular MMOs today? Let's talk about it. Enjoy my absolutely abysmal editing skills, but just know it's all coming from my tiny little blackened heart. And it has been a long time coming. I was meaning to say a few things about this game for quite a while, since I've been quite impressed by what it has got to offer. So this is my personal take on this game. My words are not gospel, obviously. I'm still a absolute noob, beginner, a journeyman, if you will, in this game. This game is just too huge for anyone that's played it for less than a year to kind of fully understand, and I'll explain why. Before I proceed, I would like to just touch on my gaming experience, let's just say, my gaming CV, my curriculum vitae. So I've played a lot of MMOs and a lot of games in general, but I enjoy MMOs the most, or games with the open world, let's just say, right? I played everything from Fallout 1, from Preston Tale, Lord of the Rings, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, Diablo. I mean, you name it, I have probably played it. And I believe with all this experience under my belt of over 2 decades or more even playing games, I am at the very least allowed to give an opinion on this beautiful game that I fell in love with. So how did I even come across this pixelated game? It was back in 2001, end of 2001 or maybe 2002. I was still in school. At the time, I didn't speak English. We didn't have, obviously, smartphones. Most people didn't even have internet at home. To be honest, it was the dial-up era. And so because of my sort of personal situations, I used to hate to go to school, and I didn't have any friends in school because, once again, I couldn't speak English to nobody. So I just used to bunk most of the school, you know, and I used to, because in England, you're not actually like allowed to, you know, kids are not allowed to be just on the streets during the schools, because police will, during school time, because police will approach you and literally drag you home or take you back to school, right? So I used to hide inside internet cafes, you know, and that's how I come across RuneScape. I remember playing it on a website called Miniclip, and you couldn't even have it full screen at the time, right? It would be a tiny little window in your computer screen, the size of your phone or even smaller, right? And that's how you played RuneScape. So yeah, that was me hiding from my teachers, from the police, and from the my parents playing RuneScape. But at that time, I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. It was just kind of very helpful for my circumstances to at that time to play the game, because it's very time consuming, and it made the 6 hours of school time just fly by. Of course, speaking no English, and being a young boy, I never got to understand just how complex this game is, so I never actually played it properly. I maybe played it for a couple of months at best. And here I am, 24 years later, getting sucked into this game. And yeah, the way it happened was that my friend, well, my neighbor, I invited him over, and I was just kind of complaining to him about how there is all MMOs nowadays suck, and all games in general suck, and all new games and all new films are just rubbish, and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so bored. And he was like, "Hey, I've been playing this game in absolute secret." Called Old School Runescape. You should give it a go. I was like, oh, RuneScape, yeah, I know this game. I played it 24 years ago, and yeah, he just kind of reintroduced me into the game. He showed me what to click, when to click it, and here I am now making a video about this game. Of course, before I go any further, I'm just going to give like a 1 minute introduction to everybody who's lived on the moon for the past 24 years who don't know what Old School RuneScape is. It's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game is what it's referred to as. Essentially, what a RuneScape is a massive open world where you play one character and you can choose what your character is, right? There are many different skills. I think there is around 30 skills in total, something like that. And there are gathering skills, there are utility skills, let's say, and there are combat skills. So gathering skills are things like fishing, whereby you say you go out there to the sea or to the river, you catch some fish, then you cook it, or you can make potions from it through herbal skill. And then of course you need the fish to eat, and then there are skills such as smithing and mining, for example, whereby you go out there and you collect materials from which you can make weapons and armor, which then you can use to fight monsters, right? And so that's where the combat skills come. And you kind of have to train your different aspects of your combat, which are attack, strength, defense, magic, things like that. So all skills are kind of interconnected, as you may have gathered through my very basic explanation. The game is also very famous for its very grindy nature. It's very long to actually maximize any of your skills, right? It can take people months or even years for some people, But the point is, it's not a thing where it's like you can just get maxed out skill in alchemy, for example, like in World of Warcraft in like 1 hour or 2 hours. No, it's just not a thing. You can never expect to master any skill within any short amount of time. Everything takes long with this game, okay? That's the only way I can put it. So the game, there's a lot of accumulation of resources in this game, the way I kind of see this game. Everything, whether you're fighting or you're training, gathering skills, it ends up in accumulation of resources, which you then use to make your character stronger, right? The said resources can also be sold, of course, or turned into things, like I said, and then sold. And that leads me to the next point. This game has got the most elaborate economy that I've seen in any games that I've played, to be honest, and that includes World of Warcraft. It's much more complicated and much more realistic, I would say. It's really like it reminds me of stock market or stock trade in the real world, I will touch on that as well. The game also consists of boss fights, so there's a lot of that, and a lot of people kind of argue that the game, the best way to kind of generate profits is through killing bosses, right? But that takes skill, believe it or not. I know it's a pixelated game, but there's a lot of skill involved to play this game, actually, as I've realized now. There are also a lot of mini games which are very beneficial to your character in one way or another. Say there are combat mini games, there are resource gathering mini games, there are mini games that just teach you how to say use your skills and stuff, but everything at the end of these mini games actually reward you, and you never leave the mini game thinking, well, okay, I played the game, I had fun for 5 minutes or 20 minutes, but what did I get out of it? No, you're always getting something out of these mini games, just like you would from boss fights, just like you would from gathering resources. And in a lot of cases, it's actually more beneficial to engage in these mini games that the game provides, as it is more profitable and more engaging, and less mind-numbing than other activities that lead to generation of profits and resources. Saying that, I have to mention the PvP as well. The game has a very complicated PvP system, which I have not touched upon. I've tried it for like 20 minutes. That's about it, because I've realized it will take me possibly a few months to get to that stage, right? I have no clue what the hell is going on. It is very complicated. There are too many items, too many possibilities, too many factors to consider during PvP. And if you don't know what you're doing, and that's, yeah, you're finished. You're not gonna have a good time. And that's like my only complaint about this game, is the barriers of entry to PvP activities is quite high. You cannot just enter PvP in RuneScape. You will die and you will lose a lot of money. And that's the thing with PvP. It's very costly. That's what I'll mention later on too. Now that I got the negative out of the way, I want to talk about why I love Old School Runescape, and that is the purpose of this video. Primarily, there is always something to do, and that's like one of the best things I love about RuneScape. Unlike other games where your hand is being held consistently, essentially, right, and there's only one way to success, Old School RuneScape stands out by providing an endless amounts of tasks, right, and ways to progress your account. And that's another thing. The key phrase is progression of your account, right? Everything you do, no matter how sort of meaningless it seems, it actually progresses your account further, and it makes your character stronger, right? I'll explain that later on too. In fact, there is so much to do. From reading some Reddit and watching some videos and kind of speaking to people in game, I see one of the big problems in this game is the paralysis by over-analysis, if you know what I mean. It's like there is so much to do that people are often just frozen. They don't know where to go, or more importantly, they kind of overthinking and like, so what do I do? What's the most efficient way? Oh, but if I do this, will I be able to come back and do this? Oh, but am I wasting time doing this? And so they essentially just end up standing in one spot, just kind of not knowing what to do, right? And I'll tell you how to deal with that as well. But just remember that everything is progress in this game. You don't have to just kill big monsters, to progress your account further. You can just go out there and chop a tree with a shittest axe that you can find, and that is progress. You're gaining resources, which then you can turn into weapons, or you can sell. Then you can use the gold to buy weapons or armor, So even something seemingly meaningless, like chopping a tree, will progress your account further. Another thing that I've kind of realized about this game is how simple and yet complicated this game is at the same time, and the freedom it provides to you as a character in game. You really feel like you're in a real world, right? Because like I said, there is a economy within the game which is very much like the real world economy, right? There's the whole concept of supply and demand, and unlike most modern MMOs that bombard you with like endless tutorials and quest markers, and like I said, there is just one way to do things, right? You go to this raid every once a week for 30 minutes, then you kill the bosses, and then you log out, and that's the best way to get your items, right? Let's be honest, we know what type of games I'm talking about. But in this game, in Old School RuneScape, you're just kind of dropped into the a town called Lumbridge at the beginning of the game, and it's like, yeah, just go figure it out, brother. Find out what to do. Like, do you want to be a master fisherman? Do it. Want to just scavenge the Grand Exchange and flip items for profit? Do it. Nothing's stopping you. The game doesn't hold your hand at any point, and that's what makes it great, in my opinion. If you want to become a dragon slaying hero and sell their bones for millions of gold, go and do that. But just know it takes a lot of time to get to that stage to be able to kill dragons and other, big guys that actually give you a lot of gold and items that are worth a lot of gold. Do you wish to ruin everybody's lives by killing them and taking their belongings? Do it. And that's kind of the reoccurring theme in Old School Runescape. There is no one way to play it. There are, of course, efficiency strategies, right? Like, how do you earn more gold per hour and how do you maximize the more experience per hour? But it's super unnecessary, and in my opinion, if you play it that way, you will essentially either A, burn out, or like you'll start seeing this game as a job even on a subconscious level, and you'll just not want to play because nobody wants to work. Whether you enjoy bossing, questing, skilling, being a businessman, or like I said, killing people, there's a play style that'll fit you, I promise. And then there is, of course, the Iron Man mode, which to new players I do not suggest. Like, don't play Iron Man if you're a new player, because this is again my opinion. Please, nobody get triggered. Okay, I'm sorry. This is just my opinion. Even as a normal account, right? The game is so huge and it's so time consuming, and I'm having tons of fun, and it's literally taking like majority of my time of the day. So playing Iron Man, I think, is for those who've really been playing this game for like years, if not decades. Like, this game literally caters to everybody, to the most hardcore fanatics, the masochistic, they enjoy pain, and for those who are just just trying to chill, cut some trees, catch some fish, and chat to their friends. Now, speaking of catching fish and cutting trees and such, all skills in this game are interconnected, like I've mentioned earlier. I'll give you an example. For example, there are gloves called Barrow's gloves, right? And those who play RuneScape know what it is. It's like one of the best gloves, and you can use them for a long time. They're very good for combat purposes mainly, right? And but to get them, you need to complete this quest, right? But this quest consists of like 8 mini quests or something, but those 8 mini quests consist of other little quests that you need to complete before you can do those 8 mini quests. But to complete those other quests that allow you to do those said mini quests, you need to have X amount of skill in that X amount of stats in that skill, or you have to be skilled in smithing, or yeah. So you can see how it turns into a rabbit hole of skills, needing other skills to do some other skill, and I love that. I absolutely love it, because, for example, if you see somebody wearing those gloves, everybody knows. You don't need to say nothing. They see you with those gloves, and everybody knows. Okay, he has done that fucking quest. This guy is mental. He is just like me. We are the same. Or I would like to give you another example, which actually relates to my recent achievement on my account, which is unlocking a city called Prifdinas, right? And to unlock this quest, you firstly need to do other like 100 quests, if not more, right? And you need to spend months leveling up your skills, right, to allow you to do those said quests, right? So once again, when you unlock the whole city and you're inside there and you see other players there with you, it's kind of, yeah, it feels really nice, because everybody knows like we're all united by the struggle. Now, speaking of struggles, every struggle in this game counts with a reward. And I know I keep saying this, but this is also one of my favorite things about this game, the rewards. The rewards feel absolutely amazing and they feel earned. And not just that, the rewards that you get in this game, they never go away, right? Or they never become meaningless. So there's never going to be a time where like a next patch comes out and oh sorry mate, now everything that you did in the past 6 months is useless because that gear that you got from that boss is useless now because now you've got a better item. No, it don't work like that. Everything you earn is most likely going to be needed and useful for the rest of your lifetime playing this game. Like whether it's hitting a 99 in a skill, which is like the maximum amount you can get, right? 99, say in fishing or in mining or whatever it is, or whether it's finishing an insanely difficult quest or getting a rare boss drop. Every milestone feels like a true accomplishment. And when I talk about hitting a 99 in one skill, I'm talking about possibly months. Yeah, months. The most definitely a couple of weeks, right? But for average player, it'll take months to reach a maximum in any one skill. And of course, it's not just about mindlessly grinding, right? It's more about strategizing, choosing efficient methods, and there are also a lot of community-based training that make the journey even more rewarding and more fun, you know. Like for instance, there is a thing called forestry that I recently discovered, and what that is what it sounds like. You go to a forest and a group of people chop trees to gain certain items that you need to progress your account further, or to maybe just make some gold so you can buy a big sword or a big axe. Now, speaking of strategizing and choosing efficient methods, like I said, it's not that important. But if you are choosing to be more efficient, it obviously will require more focus on the game, more clicking, more movement, and that type of thing, right? But there is also quote unquote AFK training methods, right? The RuneScape community refers to them as such, which means like there's certain activities that you can just click and just leave it, you know, for like a couple minutes, up to 5 minutes. Some activities you can AFK train for like 20 minutes, so you can literally click a rock, for example, and your character will just mine it. But it's much less rewarding in terms of experience and in terms of gaining of the resources compared to the high intensity training methods. Uh, There are also tons of cosmetic rewards and combat tasks and achievements, which again reward you with different utilities and to make your characters much stronger and to make the achievement of other tasks much easier too. One of the biggest sort of important aspects of this game is the economy. And like I said, this is what makes it really look like our world. You know, economy in Old School Runescape is very important. It's a living, breathing entity. You know, it's entirely player driven. Everything is naturally based on supply and demand, with prices literally shifting in some cases every, say, 5-10 minutes, you know, depending on how much stock there is in the grand exchange and how much demand there is. So from flipping items at the grand exchange to making money for skilling, killing bosses and becoming some type of merchant, the game rewards those who understand the market trends. So what I'm saying is there is even ways to get rich in this game and buy the items you need without even training anything. But that of course requires a very nuanced understanding of the game. Players can even create their own in-game businesses or form community-based clans, which solely will focus on, of course, trading, right, and controlling the market, which is kind of evil, but I mean, I can understand it. And of course, you cannot talk about RuneScape economy and the grand exchange or the RuneScape stock market, right? Without mentioning the player's own bank, which is your storage, right? It's the storage system of Old School RuneScape, where you literally can put everything you find in there. And it's very satisfying to see your sort of value of your bank grow, right? Slowly into thousands, into millions, into billions. I'm nowhere near billion mark yet, but I reached around like 60, 70 million, which I'm happy with. And really, I'm just a sucker for a bank in any game. In fact, the main reason why I quit Fallout 76 was because you have to pay like real money for a bank for storage. As soon as I found out, I quit that game. That's how important the bank system is, or the storage system is for me. I love just gathering shit and just looking at them after, in my bank. I don't know, I'm weird like that. But back to Old School RuneScape Bank. The banking system here is like, so if you have say 1000 of sword type A, right? It's not going to take 1000 slots in your bank. It's going to take one slot, but all those items are going to stack, right? Magic, I guess, but the point is it makes banking much more fun and much more kind of rewarding for me. Look, Old School RuneScape is not just a game, it's a community. Many players started this game as kids, as I understand it now, and now as adults they return to relive the nostalgia. And I use the word nostalgia very loosely here. Yes, there are nostalgic elements to it, but I'm myself an example of or the proof of that this game is not about nostalgia at all. Yeah, it's just a very well designed game, and I have to respect the developers for this because I respect a game where hard work is appreciated, like I said. But at the same time, this game isn't stuck in the past. It thrives because of its passionate player base, and its player base is very passionate. Let me tell you this. Like from helpful wiki guides to passionate discussions about balancing changes. The community is what keeps the game alive, in my opinion. Whether it's a random drop part in Falador, a clan war in the wilderness, or just friendly players giving stuff to the new players. Old School RuneScape offers some of the most memorable and heartfelt moments in my gaming sort of life. Unlike a lot of MMOs that just feel empty or filled with bots or something, I feel like RuneScape has a real living player base, and when you're like running around the world doing your things, you can really feel the world is alive. From player killers that dominate the wilderness to crazy Iron Man pushing their limits, I really think that it's the players that make this game special. Perhaps the most important reason why the community plays a major role in this game as opposed to other games is the fact that there is the players that have a say in the game's future, right? Because the game developers, they are consistently dropping polls, right? Like elections, you could say, right? Where people are voting, like what kind of updates get added, and then those that content gets voted on again, and they check it, double check it, and then they might change their votes again. But yeah, the point I'm making is that the community decides what's allowed into the game through a poll system. So what that means basically is that no changes come unless the player base or the majority of the player base accepted it. Like even things like interface enhancements and balancing changes, once again it's the players that have a say in this and not the developers. The developers kind of, as far as I understand, they provide the offers and the community decides. Honestly, I haven't seen anything even close to this system in any of the games I've played, let alone any MMOs that I've played, and I absolutely love it. Now, perhaps the main thing that sucked me into this game is the challenges of this game, right? Like I said, there is always something to do. There is always something to attain. There is always some work to be done in order to make your character stronger, whether it's training your character to become more physically powerful to fight monsters, or whether it's to get richer. There is always something to do. Now, that requires, of course, patience. In Old School Runescape, the main challenge, in my opinion, and this is, we're going to get a bit philosophical at the end, patience is one of the biggest challenges of this game, I believe. And I think burnout is also one of the biggest like enemies in this game, right? So you yourself are your biggest enemy in this game. How far you get is just based on your patience, right? I would say. And what I mean by that is majority of activities in this game and majority of the rewards in this game are tied to how long it takes, right? How long it takes to complete the activity. So for instance, if there is a boss that drops the best weapon there is in the game, right? In order for you to be able to fight that boss, you'll probably have to be like, you know, have maximum skills in all of the combat tasks, right? And possibly even other tasks as well. And that is very hard to achieve, right? Not to mention the quests you need to complete and the different achievements that you need to complete in order to further make those encounters with, say, bosses easy. The point I'm making is that I believe the best, sort of the most satisfactory gratification is a delayed gratification. And what I mean by that is things that are not earned just feel meaningless, you know. But things that you do have to work for, and once you earn them, everybody knows about how difficult it was to earn. Automatically, that gives you a sense of satisfaction, whether it's a powerful weapon or a beautiful cosmetic reward. And there are so many cosmetic rewards in this game, which require a lot of patience to earn. And like I said, patience is one of the biggest challenges in this game, and I challenge you to test your patience. One of the other biggest challenges in this game is, I found out, are the quests. The quests of RuneScape are nothing like any other quests in any other game. The quests of RuneScape feel like quests. They feel like an adventure. Okay, like you really feel like you're about to go on a very big journey, you know, before every quest, because you have to do a lot of research. And I found that through a lot of pain, because I used to think, yeah, I'm just gonna wing this quest, I'm just gonna go and see what the boss has, and hopefully I'll just kill him. Like, no, it don't work like that. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, you will die. Okay, you cannot underestimate any boss in this game. But that's the thing, once you kind of know what it is, once you did your research, it becomes almost like, whoa, well, that was easy. But if you haven't done your research, the easiest boss will just kill you, because you don't know his weaknesses, you don't know his strengths, right? And that's another thing about this game. Like, it's so nuanced and so detailed that every little thing needs to be taken into account. Do I need to fight him with a bow? Do I need to fight him with a magic? Do I need to, hit him with a slash weapon? Do I need to hit him with a crush weapon? Do I need to wear leather armor? Do I need to wear, heavy plate armor? How much food do I need to bring? How much agility do I need for this boss? Oh, do I need wood cutting for this boss? Oh, do I need mining? Oh, okay. You see what I'm saying? It just goes on and on and on. And if you kind of don't take into account any of these factors, you'll probably fail and you'll be upset. But the beauty of this is, once you complete this, the rewards, like I said, are with you. You only have to complete the quest once. And honestly, I miss doing quests, because now I'm at a stage where I only got the most difficult quests left, and they're so difficult, I'm really struggling to do them. So yeah, that's where I am at now. Another challenge is, of course, is the bosses, right? There are many bosses around the world, from some undead little shitty skeletons to some powerful dragons that are the size of your entire screen. And each boss is so different. There is not one thing there's no two things that are the same in this game when you fight them. And once again, it's very rewarding to kill them and see what they drop. And once again, if they do drop something that you need, you will keep that forever. Yeah, it will never be a case of, oh, well, now that's useless. There are, of course, some items that say, I'll give you an example. There will be a bow that comes out and is stronger than the previous bow. However, that previous bow has got something special about it that will be required to kill something else, maybe even in the future, making the bow that's hypothetically better than the previous bow now weaker. So it's always like an ebb and flow of old items coming into the game, and um, you know prices of these items rising and falling depending on what content is available. And yeah, it's really good, and nothing kind of becomes useless. Now, in every game I've played, what I enjoyed the most was the PvP, right? Every game I play, I just want to kill other people. But Old School Runescape, one doesn't simply just PvP, okay? Old School Runescape offers one of the most intense PvP encounter in any MMO I've played. The place where you kill people in Old School Runescape is called the Wilderness, and it's unforgiving. If you step there unprepared, you will die. You will die. There are people there literally hunting other people all day long, all night long. And if they find you, there will be no begging them. You can't do nothing. They will kill you. They will take all your shit, and you will be very sad. And that happened to me once. I had my item called the fish sack, right? And I forgot to take it off, right? I had to go to the wilderness to do some type of achievement. I can't remember. And I went there completely brain dead with my big fish sack on my back. And somebody just appeared, killed me, and took my fish sack. That fish sack took me about 2 weeks to get. Yeah? I was so upset, I wanted to quit. but then I just kind of got my shit together. I went back, got my fish sack back from this place called the Mulch Island, where you literally have to be completely alone fishing for a week or longer to get this item. And yeah, so I learned my lesson. But the point I'm making is that the PvP in this game is perhaps the biggest challenge. Okay, it is of course much harder than bosses, because player is not AI. They can do different things, and it's really unpredictable. And like I said, because of the complexity of this game, because of the amount of items and weapons and factors to consider, um, uh, player versus player system becomes extremely complex. But like I've mentioned earlier, in the reward system, the the complexity of things and the intensity of things also matches the rewards that come with it. So PvP is perhaps one of the most rewarding things I have seen in this game. When I was in a clan or like a guild in this game, in Old School RuneScape, I've seen people kill somebody and gain like over 60 million or 100 million, like stupid amounts of gold like this. For the record, like I said, I've been playing this game for months, right? And I take all the easiest routes. I'm mostly like AFK farming, AFK fishing, AFK mining. I'm doing things that require almost zero focus, okay? And because of my low intensity sort of focus in this game, the rewards come nowhere near the rewards that I've seen the PvPers get. Like the most I've had in my bank in hard gold was like maybe 20 million, and overall my bank maybe was worth 100 million at most. And I've been playing this game for months, and like I said, these guys go out, they kill somebody and make 100 million in like few minutes or whatever. But once again, it's not as simple as that. It takes loads of research, loads of time, and of course finding the perfect prey, which is a skill of its own in this game. Now, speaking of research and knowledge of the game, the Wikipedia, which is the main source of information, right, on Old School RuneScape, the Wikipedia is amazing for this game. It is the best wiki I have seen. It is better than World of Warcraft or any other Wikipedia that's out there, and I'm willing to bet my money on it. And it's actually crazy because considering how intricate and complex this game is, for anybody to even sufficiently sort of explain every aspect of the game is already amazing. But not do they just do that, they go well beyond that, and they provide you with the most efficient way of doing things, right? And it's very like user-friendly interface. You need to check it out yourself. The Old School Runescape Wikipedia is the best. Like, I want to start wrapping up here and just finish up by saying I advise every person to just try this game. If you're a gamer and you haven't played RuneScape, I'm sorry, you're not a gamer, okay? I'm just gonna put it that way. You're not a gamer if you haven't at least tried Old School RuneScape. You don't know the struggle, okay? If you haven't played Old School RuneScape, we are not the same, okay? Old School RuneScape players and other gamers are just not the same. Yeah, and as harsh as it sounds, it's facts. And I've come to understand it myself now, because I used to play World of Warcraft before I started playing this game. And I used to laugh at Old School RuneScape, or any RuneScape, to be honest. I'd be like, what is this shit, you know? What is this little square people running around and clicking things? Look at this, look at how shitty the combat system is. No, I was ignorant, and I was wrong, and I kind of want to apologize for that. Furthermore, I want to add something quite positive, and how this game has actually had a positive effect on me in my life, in my daily life. I struggle with a lot of issues, you know. I've went to prison for a long time for different violent offenses and stuff, and I struggle with different anxiety issues, but that's a whole different topic. What I'm saying is that this game is like I see it as a comfort game, you know. I've played, like I said, I've played all the games that are out there, and this game actually provides me with some sense of peace, you know. And it's strange to say that. Maybe it's just because of the way I look at it. Like, I'm not really addicted to this game. Yes, I play it a lot, but I'm not like I don't get this anxiety of, you know, say for example, if I'm playing League of Legends, like there used to be this anxiety of like, oh, I need to reach this rank, I need to become platinum, or I need to become gold, or whatever. In this game, there is no such thing. Like, I don't feel like I need to have this item, or I don't feel like I have to have this skill in order to, like, I don't know, please myself or others, or like I said, there is no rush, right? I don't feel like I need to get some item today, because if I don't get it today, the next week is going to be useless, you know. Like, no, I can get the item today or next year. I don't really care, you know. Or I can max out all my skills this year or next year. I don't care. Like, I feel at peace playing this game, and this is why I call this game a comfort game. I feel like it comforts me, as opposed to other games that used to put me on edge, you know. I used to get like quite mad and upset a lot, you know, with people in the game and the way, but it wasn't their fault, you know. It's just the nature of the games. It forces people to act a certain way. And Old School RuneScape, I just don't feel any of that. I even stopped smoking playing RuneScape, you know, because playing World of Warcraft and playing League of Legends, which were like the latest two games I used to play before RuneScape, they really used to make me on edge. Like I said, and I would smoke non-stop like a chimney. And yeah, and Old School RuneScape just put my mind at peace. And this is like a personal thank you to the developers and the community. I suppose that made this game that way. I thank you guys. I love you all, and I wish you good health, and I hope you're having a good time. I'm sorry about my shitty editing skills. I just don't care enough. I just wanted to share my feelings about this beautiful game that I'm enjoying. Thank you all. Good night.